I'm going to be looking at a replay, and I'm not going to cast it. I'm going to try to analyze it a little bit instead. Actually, let me just check one thing real quick. Okay, yeah, I should have time for that. Because one of the main problems I see with new Star Wars players is that they try out the new units, and it doesn't work because they try to use them the way they would use them in StarCraft 2. Or they would just use them in some random way and it doesn't work, and they say, oh, these units suck. Or they try or they look at some of the old units from Brood War, and they don't know how to deal with them, and they're like, oh, these units are so overpowered, this is insane, I can't deal with this. So, I want to show this game. I'm just going to start it. I can actually just speed it up at the beginning because I'm not going to cast this, but it's going to be the Red Bandit playing Protoss versus Myrault playing Zerg. These are two excellent players. Myrault, one of the best Zerg players we have, number one on the ladder right now. The Red Bandit, also one of the best Zerg players we have, but a really, really good, really good Protoss player. What's going to happen now is the Red Bandit is going to play things very differently from standard game, and it's actually already starting with the gateway. Actually, I didn't see the beginning of this game. I saw some of it, so I didn't even know he opened with the gateway, and this is interesting. This basically opens up for a little bit of early aggression, but it also opens up for a little bit of an early vulnerability. But it does force him to scout very early. He's scouting right after the gateway, which is nice. So that the first zealot, because he will make a zealot now, there's no point in making this gateway. There we go. Otherwise, he should just make a forge instead. But this will make it so his base is a little bit later. And no, I will not cast that 1 hour game between Myrault and Fighting Spirit. That was insane. Like, that was the most... Yeah, that was kind of sad from a game design perspective, to be honest. So, I'm not too proud of that game. So, okay, so the Zealot knows where he is because he's scouted all the places he isn't. Myrault's going... Let me just chill this for a little bit. It's going for like a 12 hatch, 12 pool, something like that. Very standard. A little bit of... Little kind of risky if you get blocked. You want to get the spawning pool first, but it's no biggie. Setting out this for a third base. He's probably going to take that third base down here because he knows his opponent is over here. Well, he assumes so. Actually, I think he's just scouting, but now he... Oh. Okay, it looked like for a second you want to take this there, but the first Zealot is here, forcing Myrault to make some Zerglings, forcing him to pull workers around so he doesn't lose any. Let's see if he actually loses any or not. This isn't... I'm not too interested in this, actually, like, if he goes for the Zealot first or not. The point is he's forcing out links, and then he has to be super safe, which he really isn't right now, but it's fine because he has to deal with the Zealot first. So let me just... This Zealot is doing a lot of damage. Okay, there we go. Here's the Zerglings. Oh, there's a lot of more Zealots. Oh, no, he teamed up. I was just speeding away so fast. I thought that was like 3 Zealots. Oh, there is. There's one over there. Okay, there is 3 Zealots. That was kind of confusing for a second. So there's a lot of Zealots, a lot of Zerglings. Zerg is on 2 bases. As long as he keeps a decent 2-base economy, he should have enough larvae to outproduce the gateway. Even on 2 gate can be outproduced by 2 hatcheries. So, but it's a little bit more tricky. Okay, so here we go. The Red Bandit is expanding. He's getting a forge. He is, yeah, he has enough Zealots to hold the choke. He doesn't have enough to attack. But he has enough to hold the choke. He's going to get a cannon out. He should be just fine. And right now, things are looking quite normal. The only difference is that Zerg had to focus a lot on units and not on workers. So he's a little bit behind there, and his third is going to be late. But except for that, it's all very normal. That's not really the point of this game, so let me just spool through and get to the more interesting parts. So he's adding on more and more Zealots, which is good. You don't really need to tech that fast versus Zerg. You just need a good number of Zealots. You just need to make sure you have something for like mute and lurker timings, but those are quite late because Zerg really wants to get a third. But if you don't scout, let me pause here and say this. If you don't scout a third base, there should be lights blinking in your head, and you should start to add on a lot of extra photon cannons because that's most likely a Hydra bust. And even if you scout a third base, it may be a Hydra bust. So keeping this extra probe out, checking for stuff all the time is super important. Checking for bases, checking for the hydrogen timing, checking for everything. So yeah. Of course you need to tech versus Zerg. I'm just saying you don't have to tech super fast. You don't have to like rush for the tech. You can add on a lot of Zealots. I didn't say you shouldn't tech. I said you don't have to rush for it. So he's adding on extra gateways, adding on the Twilight Council. He's gonna have 4 gateways, 2 bases, 5 I mean, apparently. Getting the Twilight Council. Extra hatcheries from Myrault. We're actually not too interested in Myrault right now. We're much more interested in the Red Bandit, but I'll mention things he does once in a while. Getting the extra cannons because His probe is dead. He's seen the Hydra den. He knows this could be a Hydra push timing. He doesn't know. He doesn't know. So, and this is actually not enough Zealots to hold Hydra lists. So he has to be careful. And here there are some Hydra lists. There's only 2. And here we are. He's making Hydra lists. And he is getting range, which means that he could try to bust down the wall. If you're just making Hydra lists for map control, you're still going to get speed first and not range. He's adding on more gates. 5 more gates, yeah. Okay, and here's the interesting part. I'm going to speed it down. He's getting Zealot leg because he has a lot of Zealots, and now he's adding on Stalkers. This is the time he's adding on Stalkers. He's not, like, I don't know exactly how new players have been doing this, but I've seen some rushes in the past by fairly good StarCraft 2 players who try to add in Stalkers, and what they try to do is they try to rush for Stalkers in one base. It can work, but it's much more of a risky, different kind of play. What the Red Bandit here is doing here is more of a macro-oriented play, and it's kind of more safe, but now he's gonna... So he actually blinks forward. I don't know if that's a good idea, but he is gonna clean this up. Zealot, Stalker, very strong combo. And yes, the Zealots are incredibly useful with the Stalker. The Stalkers deal a good deal of damage. They're very mobile, and they can avoid being hit a lot of times, and they're really good for this, chasing off retreating units. But they're very fragile compared to the Zealot. And the Zealot is needed to tank all the shots, so Stalkers don't have to take shots. So right now, Myrault is in a lot of trouble. He has no defense. This is a very mobile army compared to the slower army with High Templars and Dragoons. Stalker Zealot with speed is actually incredibly mobile, but he's going to get surrounded on both sides. He's trying to save the Stalkers because they're faster and then sacrifice the Zealots, getting in a really good position there, the Red Bandit is, the way he microed that. And he's adding on Stalkers and Zealots, but he's not getting any Storm. And he can just be cost efficient with these units, which is actually quite incredible. Like I said before, I haven't watched this whole game in detail. First, I should have. So I'll be surprised at a couple of things here. I'm going to try to sound very smart, but I'm not really. So he's getting the Stalker range. He doesn't have the high ground. He doesn't really need the high ground upgrade for the Stalkers in a while because he's using the Stalkers as a fighting unit. He's not using them as a harassment unit. It's good to have the high ground after the range, just to have the option of blinking into his main base and stuff like that. But right now, he just wants to control the map with the Stalkers. And getting the range is really good for that. Meanwhile, Zergs are getting Lurkers. Lurker Hydra is a good counter to Stalker, just saying. So, Zerglings are not very good versus Stalker Zealots at all. They both do really well versus Zerglings. Getting the high ground there with the Red Bandit, but you see when he fights without the Zealots, he's very fragile. But the second he has more numbers than his opponent, basically all you have to do as Zerg is to turn around and fight. You can't really retreat versus Stalkers, so you might as well just fight, or else you're just gonna die. You're gonna die regardless, but then you might kill something. So it's a very back and forth little play here now. The Red Bandit is actually spouting towards his opponent, which is quite interesting. I'm not going to analyze that one too much. Stalker range is getting complete. He's adding on a robotics facility because of the Lurkers. He's staying on 2 base, getting slowly a 3rd, and he's keeping up pressure. Meanwhile, though, he's quite vulnerable to these counterattacks. And if Zerglings get on top of Stalkers and you don't have time to micro them, they do kill them quite quickly, and you might actually get this base. Meanwhile, the Red Bandit doing some work here, but he's not really focusing on microing these units. He's not really retreat plinking them or anything. There we go. He's just, well, really retreat plinking them, but he did save his Nexus. So that's nice. And someone is trying to contact me. No. No one is trying to contact me. Nathaniel has said hi and everyone went crazy and he hasn't said anything else. Alright, so I think I'm saying his name wrong too, but whatever. The Red Bandit getting +1. He's not getting the Stalker range. Does he already have it? No, I mean the Stalker high ground vision. He's just going to use them for fighting for now. The Red Bandit getting a ton of Hydra lists. I mean Myrault getting a ton of Hydra lists. I really wish the Red Bandit had more Zealots. Because you see that when the Zealots have to soak up damage, the Stalkers can do so much damage because they have higher DPS, I think. Actually, let me calculate that. Stalkers do 6 damage times 2, that's 12 damage, and they have attack speed of 1.14. And the Zealots, oh, we don't have a Zealot. Okay, I'll have to wait then. 12 damage, 1.14. No, that's only versus light though, but and then it's a little bit less. But I'll just do that for now. All right, and there's the Zealot. Zealot do 16. But they have 1.22, so they have about the same DPS. About the same DPS. Okay. But Stalkers are much more mobile. Stalker makes it possible to retreat with half your army if you need to, which is quite interesting. I shouldn't be talking too much. Viper's Nest on the way, 4th base on the way. Now, when you have a very mobile army like this, your positions are very important. Like, the Red Bandit's army isn't really that strong, it's just very mobile. So he needs to... Yeah, he needs to do this. He needs to catch smaller units of Zerg. Like, catch small fractions here and there. Because if Zerg gathers up all their forces, maybe not right now, but I think earlier, it would have been difficult to maybe fight it head on. But now he's adding Dark Templars, High Templars, and Storm, which is a very interesting complementary. We're going to see the Red Bandit soon, having groups of Zealots and Dark Templars all over the map to snipe bases, while he's using his Stalkers as the main force of his army, being very mobile all around, and attacking at different places at once. This style of Protoss that the Red Bandit is doing here is opening up for a lot of mobility. It's not necessarily, you don't really get the strong Protoss, aka Death Bull, that you see with like Archons and High Templars and Dragoons, but you get a very mobile army that still has a lot of fighting to it. And you can do things like this. You can like, it's hard to retreat from this army. You have to think, Zerg has to be much more careful engaging it, but it doesn't have the same amount of firepower. So it's a trade-off, and it's an interesting trade-off. But Myrault is having a hard time dealing with the army of the Red Bandit. I think the Red Bandit could have just pushed here, maybe just won the game, to be honest. He really needs some lurkers, there we go. But he doesn't want to push and win, he wants to push and kill expansions. No, he doesn't want to do anything right now. I should have some water. So let's smack him down. He's very indecisive, actually. Now there are High Templars here. There they are. So this is gonna converge into the more Death Bullish Protoss army, which is less mobile but more powerful. Drill Lance on the way, all these attacks on the way. So we got 3 base versus 4 base. Not the worst place to be in for a Protoss player. I mean, yeah, this is what I was talking about. Is getting this little group out. Now Myrault should have done a much better job defending or setting up defenses. Not the best of storms, but he's protecting his High Templar. Never mind. Look at this. This looks also fragile. This looks very fragile. But they can just retreat. Because this is another... Okay, let me talk about this. This is also very important. When you have a very mobile army, you want to attack out on the map. You don't want to get caught. Mobile armies usually have less damage, less durability. So you don't want to get caught in a position where you have to fight. You want to pick your fights. So the fact that the Red Bandit is out here in the middle, in the open, and he can blink around and be annoying, is really, really good for him. If he was just sitting right here all the time, and there was this big Hydra Lurker push coming, where would he go? He'd have to like blink back into his main and then lose his natural. He wouldn't be able to do the sort of maneuvering he's doing right now. So that's very important. Man, listen to me, all trying to sound all knowledgeable. I'm not really though, but I'm good at pretending. So, Red Bandit is just checking for bases everywhere. Hamburg's online. All good things happening. The omen is real. But getting these High Templars at this time is critical though, because as soon as Zerg gets an overwhelming numbers of Zerglings, Hydras, and Lurkers, Stalkers and Zealots are just not going to cut it anymore. He's going to need some AoE from the High Templars. Another base from Myrault. Well, he lost this one. He's actually on 3 bases versus 3 bases now. So the Red Bandit doesn't really need to expand too aggressively. He just needs to make sure that his opponent doesn't expand too much, like that. Meanwhile, we're finally getting Observers and Warp Prism speed. This allows you to be extra mobile because I think he's gotten... No, I know that he will get... spoilers! He will get a Warp Gate technology here to be even more mobile. Because he can warp in Zealots and Stalkers, and he hasn't even cared about it. He hasn't made a single Dragoon this entire game. And he doesn't really have to. He wants to take another base. If the Red Band can get this base up... Oh! So this is another reason to make Stalkers. They're really good versus Mutalisks. So this Mutaflock that were there to snipe the High Templar wasn't that effective, really. Well, they sniped the High Templar, but now they just die. And they would not have died that versus Dragoons. And they can pick up Stalkers too. Could take damage quite fast though. Oh, he wants to get the farther. Oh, but there's the Lurker there. Ooh, very, very almost dead Stalkers. He didn't really blink micro them, but Myrault's getting this base up. which is nice for him. Alright. Did I miss something there? No, I don't think so. So, we're gonna have... Is he not getting Warp Gate technology? He's not. Okay, I guess that's later. But he's getting speed for his Warp Prisms. He could use his Warp Prisms regardless of Warp Gate or not. Just to drop units everywhere and be annoying. I still feel the Red Band is lacking... Yeah, lacking high Templars. There we go. He's adding 6 of them, as I say. And there goes the Warp Gate technology. I think that could have been a little bit earlier. And these two Lurkers are kind of out in the open. I wish they were down here instead. Forcing a choke. Oh, nice. Dark Swarm is actually pretty good versus Stalkers. Well, it's good because it negates all the damage, but Stalkers are still very mobile, so they can easily move out of the Dark Swarm. But again, the Red Bandit keeping his army active, keeping it at the edge of his opponent's, frontier. He doesn't want to engage his army, but he wants to pick off... Like, whenever his opponent attacks him, he comes out in a line, and that's exactly what the Red Bandit wants. He doesn't want to engage into it when he doesn't know how strong he is. Oh, finding a nice position there. Oh, to blink into the base. Does he have that upgraded by now? I don't think he ever got it. No, and he didn't. And he... Oh, he snipes the hatchery. I guess that would have been damaged earlier, then I missed it, because there's no way he could have killed that hatchery that fast with so few Stalkers. And then he rifts out of there. Very nice play from the Red Bandit. That is very nice. Where did they go? Oh, there they go. There they went. Now, Myrault's had enough. He's going to actually push out. He might be able to do a lot of damage here. There are a lot of high Templars there, though. But that harassment play from the Red Bandit... Oh, that's a horrible storm. They actually moved him out of position, so that opens up for Myrault to possibly attack. But this did not go the way he wanted to. He's a burrowless lurker. There we go. Oh, there are no observers here. He lost his observer. That's bad. Oh, there's no observer still. It's just shooting while before it's burrowing. Alright. So the Red Bandit with the place from the Warp Prism. Meanwhile, Myrault is getting basically from the Zerg perspective. If you're facing Solid Stalker, you want to get like a wall of spine crawlers right here. You don't want to be as undefended as Myrault is. So, but he's just backing on his army to help him, which is a different style. I wouldn't play that way, but if you're familiar with it, then go for it. So we're gonna have some zealots in here. Gonna do some damage. Oh, and is he not gonna drop out the rest? There we go. He's gonna warp in a lot of more. Oh, that's a lot of Dark Templars. That's a very potent drop. Look at that. It's almost like a recall. Meanwhile, Myrault's gonna push again. He has a lot of lurkers this time, so he feels a little bit more confident. That's not a lot of units, dude. You can kill that. There's more units. yeah, I know. So yeah, look at this force, just killing all the tech from Myrault here. Very mobile, very nice. And again, this force staying out on the map. Maybe could have pushed up front a little bit more after that push. But yeah, that's basically that Stalker timing that the Red Band went for earlier. Like when he started to make them and what he did with them is, I think, was the most important part about this game. And the fact that he's actually making Stalkers work. I saw a comment here that he could have just made a bunch of Hydros and would have been the same. I'm not so sure if it would have. Maybe it would have. But he at least made Stalkers work for now. I'm not gonna try to compare what would have happened if those were all just Zealots instead. It's kind of hard to say. But he has no way won this game. But he's ahead in supply. He's ahead well, he's the same in base count, which is basically being ahead. He's getting more robotics facility probably for Reavers. Yeah, the Reaver late game power play, Reaver Warp Prism power play late game is really good versus Zerg. And he's opened up for that possibility when he's on 4 bases. Very nice storm there. Oh, this is very damaged Stalker. Look at how many kills this in the second time. 9 kills on that one Stalker. And they say Stalkers are useless in Starbuck. But you gotta babysit him like crazy. You need to be very careful about them. And look at that, he doesn't even blink them much. They're just so fast, he just moves them around. He only blinks to retreat or to blink in. He doesn't really blink micro. And I know why, I've seen Red Bandit stream. He doesn't have the health bars on, so he doesn't know when to blink micro. He doesn't like to play with the health bars on. So he doesn't even blink micro, and he works them just fine. He still doesn't have that upgrade, I think, for the high ground. No, he doesn't care about that. So I think he should have gotten it. He could like blink into the main base and stuff. Now he has this stuff going on for him. Wow, look at that. Look at that madness. Yeah, and he's pushing back a little bit because he really doesn't have any army right now. There they are. Yeah, his armies dropped down significantly after you made them all into warp gates. I don't know if I agree with that. I would like to have like 4 or 5 warp gates. And maybe the rest gateways, or add on some more gateways when you're making that many warp gates. Just having warp gates is very inefficient, and it's going to hurt Red Bandit's army size. Yeah, there's actually a lot of new players that I've been watching the Arrows channels since the Stalkers are useless. So, and that Myrault is so overpowered and all sorts of things. And it's okay, it's understandable when you play a new game and you encounter different builds and stuff. It's okay to, like, oh, very nice lurker drop there. And actually Myrault is pushing really far now. Now, yeah, the warp gate switch here has really hampered the Red Bandit's army size a lot. And he's actually in a little bit of trouble, meanwhile, though he's basically in a base race situation here. But he is losing most of his economy. Oh, even lurkers over here, but they can't really find a safe spot to burrow. No. But yeah, the Red Bandit is, I was going to say slowly regaining his ground here, but not, because he needs to be an observer here. He's warping some units, but it's not really enough. These lurkers are annoying and are probably eventually going to kill this Nexus. I like how he spreads them out. Very nice. Let me actually, well, oh, he has a Reaver now, that helps a lot. He actually has the Reaver damage upgraded as well. So this Reaver should do a lot of damage. Ooh. Wow! Nice little save there. Okay, I'm going into casting mode now because I think the analysis of this part is over. Basically, the Red Bandit just has to churn out workers, units and win now. But even if Myrault is doing a lot of damage to his opponent, he isn't really mining much. He's getting money from here. I guess he wants to take this expansion, which he should. But I think he just thinks that he's won. But he may not be as... because there's basically one base economy versus one base economy right now. And the Red Bandit just needs an observer. He has no production going. None of them do, really. Oh, except for 14 Hydralisks. Oh, these Hydras are in the wrong neighborhood. Yeah, storm those Hydras. Can't finish it off. Oh, that's not good. You need to cancel that Nexus. Oh, there we go. Here's an observer. That one lurker, 7-kill lurker. I always think that's an observer, but that's a probe. They do look different. Did he cancel that one? I hope he did. Dude, just keep them burrowed, man. They're awesome. Wow, actually the Red Bandit's in a lot of trouble there. Ah! More kills for the Mega Lurker. 9. I thought he had 9 earlier. No, it was 8. Okay, here comes finally the Observer. But at the same time, a whole swell of Hydralisks are coming. He needs to split them up a little bit more, though, if he wants to deal with this Reaver. Okay, that's actually quite nice. Okay, the second shot here might be really bad. Ooh! Ah, this actually wasn't too bad. Plague all over the Red Bandit's forces, which are in whole position, by the way. Okay, that's a lot of High Templars. Okay, now they all have Storm. If they get some good Storms off, should be nice. But he loses the natural base. Not a big deal, because it wasn't mining any. But the Red Bandit can't really get this base up, which sucks for him, and Myrault is getting this one now. So it's kind of a low econ game right now, if you look at the income tab. Yeah, it's not that high. Oh, Myrault is actually moving those lurkers away. I don't think he should. Those have been doing so much damage for his opponent. Oh, you don't want to go down there. You do not want to go down there. 2 full energy High Templars and 2 Reavers. It's just not the right neighborhood to go in. Oh, that Scarab just did not want to go past there, I guess. Scarab pathfinding has been odd lately. Need to have a look into that. Okay, I'm going to speed this up a little bit. No, I didn't want to do that. Okay. Oh, very nice. The Red Bandit finding this base. And he's actually going to kill it. Yeah, there's no way Myrault can stop this. But he can get another base up here really quickly, though. He's well defended now. Meanwhile, the Red Bandit should maybe take this base again. I don't think he knows that the lurkers are gone. But I like this. He's driving away all his forces here at one hand, and then he's moving the rest of his army down here. That's actually really smart. This is like one of the few mining bases of Myrault, and he knows that the army is way out of position. This is actually really, really smart from the Red Bandit. I love moves like this. And it works really well when you have a mobile army. But this move works regardless. He could have done this with siege tanks and mech even. Oh, he made... Yeah, there we go. Get some good storm off on the workers. 9 kills. And GG, the Red Bandit actually takes that game. So, again, just wanted to emphasize that you can actually get Stalkers in the mid-game. They can work, and they're not necessarily completely trash. I do have a couple other games that are not about Stalkers that I should probably just more like cast, but I want to see